All right, so tomorrow, year 3, season 4 begins, and with it, we get our brand new Wulin hero, the nerfs to Hitokiri Raider, and a host of other changes. At this point, you've probably already seen a bunch of gameplay showcasing the next hero, whether it had been from the reveal or others who have received early access. Now, I didn't get early access, of course, but I figured I'd make myself useful to you guys in some way, so I figured I'd share some news regarding crossplay that I don't believe anyone else has brought up, at least when it comes to For Honor anyways. And I know it's something a whole lot of you guys are interested in, so that's what I want to talk about today, along with my closing thoughts on this past season since they're brief and don't really need their own video. But before we get right into it, today's video is sponsored. Today's video is brought to you by Viking Jewelry. You've probably heard of them by now. They make these awesome Viking accessories that range from necklaces, earrings, bracelets, and rings that are all totally handcrafted using nothing but the highest quality materials. They have these really cool collections that you can look through, and they hooked us up with not one, but 2 discounts. The first one is 30% off all Thor's Hammers pendants for 48 hours for using the code INFINITE30. The second is 20% off the whole store using the code INFINITE20, and that code goes on for 10 days, so be sure to hop on that, as there's a lot of really cool stuff in there, including their axe and wolf pendants. So thank you to Viking Jewelry for sponsoring this video. Be sure to check them out. Link will be in the description, and let's get into the video. Alright, crossplay. In short, during an investor call recently, Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot said that Ubisoft wants to bring cross-platform play to all of its current PvP games over time. This would have just flown by if he mentioned crossplay was something that the company was interested in, as we've been seeing a few crossplay games spring up here and there, like Fortnite, the new Modern Warfare, Rocket League, even Ubisoft's own Brawlhalla, but he said current PvP games, and that's what really did it for me. He said that their goal is to put crossplay on all the PvP games that they have at this time. Now, he didn't mention which games he was talking about, but Ubisoft's current heavily focused PvP games are Rainbow Six Siege and of course For Honor. Then there's a few other Ubisoft titles like The Division 2 and Ghost Recon Breakpoint. And this isn't just a one-off statement. He mentions that the project is well underway at their studios already. However, he didn't give any sort of time as to when we could see crossplay implemented into any of their games. But to me, it's just nice to know that crossplay is something that Ubi is actively working on, and that it's something that could potentially come to For Honor. There's a chance that it couldn't, as he didn't and probably couldn't share anything too specific just yet, but Ubi doesn't have too many titles that are actively being worked on and that are PvP focused. And I'm definitely leaning towards believing that this could happen in For Honor if we get another year of content. I've read the comments from our last community video, and I've talked to a few of you guys in Discord about crossplay, and it seems like everyone is somewhat on the same side about crossplay. Crossplay would be a really cool addition to this game. It'd be a cool addition for almost any game. Console versus console is fine, you know, Xbox versus PS4, just fine. It's when you get into PC versus console that the advantage goes to PC players almost every time, unless they have a weak PC or if their PC is really struggling to run For Honor. And I mean, at this point, we all know why, so I'm not even going to get into it here, but with a game like For Honor, people that play on console would just be at a disadvantage. PC players wouldn't be running around totally clubbing or anything, but on average, they'd have an easier time. Honestly, as long as you have an option to enable or disable crossplay, we're all good. Now, forgive me, but I'm about to mention Fortnite for a second. Fortnite has encouraged crossplay, and I believe it's forced crossplay currently with their skill-based matchmaking. And of course, there are some console players who are genuinely unhappy about it, as PC players generally have an advantage over console players in many ways, and I feel that the same thing would happen here if they force crossplay. I would not want to see that make its way into For Honor at any point. Forcing people to play against other platforms is not the move, especially for this game. But crossplay would be beneficial for all of us if Ubisoft implements it correctly anyways. Not only does this help out with matchmaking, speeding queues up as player counts inevitably drop over time, but it could get people back into the game as they could play with their friends who play on separate platforms and whatnot. The one thing I'm hoping for is that Ubi takes a page out of other studios' books and decides to give us a global account so that we can carry over our progress between platforms. That would be amazing. One reason I don't buy Steel or anything like that is because I can't carry over anything I buy from one platform to another. And at the very least, if crossplay isn't a possibility for this title, at the very least, I'd like to see a cross-save system like Destiny 2 does. Anyways, that's basically all of the info we've gotten on the subject so far. But the way Eve said it, all current PvP titles made it sound like For Honor could be receiving crossplay. I'm almost certain Rainbow Six will get it, as Rainbow Six is really popular, and I'm not sure there's an end in sight for it. But For Honor isn't as popular, so I think it just comes down to whether or not we will see more serious For Honor content showing up in the future, which I really hope we do, as For Honor is currently the only game I still play on a regular basis. Now, really fast, I just want to talk about this last season, since it's something that I like to do at the end of every season. This season hasn't been too bad. Actually, it's been quite good in terms of content anyways. We got a new hero, some hero improvements, the spectator mode beta, 2 seasonal events, quite a few patches, the testing grounds, and a few other things. I think all of that lended in making the season feel a bit shorter than other seasons, the ones that felt like they went on for way too long because nothing was happening. But there was enough going on this season so that I wasn't always looking forward to the upcoming season, like I have in previous seasons when things felt pretty stale. It felt like Ubi was getting faster with their updates, and that there was always something coming in the near future to look forward to, and that there was always a pretty steady stream of communication despite the Warriors Den ditching the weekly format. The fighting itself saw changes throughout the season as well, with Peacekeeper, Nobushi, Shinobi, Orochi, Berserker, Kensei, and many others receiving improvements or changes, on top of a few feat changes like body count and second wind being nerfed. There were also the changes to escapes and the Overwatch map changes, and then of course Yorm being released. Now that I say it all out loud, there was a lot of stuff done in these last few months, at least when we compare it to some of the other seasons we've had in For Honor. And lastly, there was Yorm, this season's hero. Yorm as a whole is a mixed bag. Now that the season is basically over, I can say that I did like playing them, but they themselves sort of helped thrust the stamina discussion to the forefront. And it seems like with Yorm and a lot of other things when it comes to For Honor, people were pretty split on him. You either liked the idea of this hero or you didn't. And even though I played this hero a fair bit this season, I didn't power level him, but I did get him to like rep 10 throughout the season. There were times where I liked using this hero and times I didn't. I think the concept of this badass Viking with this really nice hammer is amazing, but he left a lot to be desired, in terms of having a fun and engaging kit. And fights could sometimes just become boring with Yorm, especially if it was a duel or even worse, a 1v1 at the start of a match in Dominion where you have no feats. And the fights could get stale because of his kit revolving around deleting stamina. Say Yorm parries his opponent because they had the nerve to attack, and he follows up with a bash. His opponent is now really low on stamina and can't do anything except play defense or just try to avoid all of his attacks. And once they do get their stamina back, if Yorm hasn't landed any attack in the meantime with his pretty small kit, nothing has been done in that fight. No one had really lost any health, and the fights are just slowed down to a crawl. It's not really engaging. Duels with Yorm are boring. I enjoyed Yorm a lot more in 4s, once his feats were involved and holding points was easy to do, with access to shields, health on bashes, feats that made it pretty easy to get people on the ground, and a good set of perks. Yorm couldn't live for a long time if he wasn't attacked by people who weren't dealing with him properly. I don't know. I don't want to get too deep into it just yet, but I still wish Yubi did something other than stamina monster with Yorm, you know, as his concept is just so cool. But hey, on the bright side, his and BP's guard switch bug are going to be fixed tomorrow, so there's that. Anyways, that's all I've got for this video. I'm not going to go on for too long, as tomorrow is the release of the new season, and with it we get a whole bunch of stuff, including that new hero that I can't wait to play. The servers are going down at noon Eastern Standard Time tomorrow, and I believe that they'll be down for about an hour and a half before coming back online, so be prepared for that. After it's live, everything will be available, and just to clear this up for everyone asking, the Marching Fire expansion will not get you this new hero. You need to have bought the Year 3 pass to get access to this hero day 1. If you don't have the pass, then you have to wait until November 14th and buy the hero with 15,000 steel. Anyways, I'm pretty excited. I really want to see how this new hero feels, and I can't wait to see how Hitokiri and Raider are after their nerfs. Plus, that new Breach map looks amazing, and I really want to play on it. Anyways, I'll stop now. As usual, I do want to hear what you guys think, so be sure to talk to me down in the comments about anything we talked about in this video. And as always, if you like the video, feel free to leave a like and sub if you're new, and I will talk to you guys in the next video.